thing with Mega Man X. Before we start a race, we got to do this little dance with our cursor, because if you let it sit too long, it it goes into the demo. Oh, here we go, and we're off. So the first thing we got to do here, I'm sure you guys have probably heard this before, but the intro is chock full of a bunch of mashing. Trying to manage these road crusher guys is a little bit of optimization we can do. Try to minimize the amount of lag that is generated when they break the road, like you see on Soppae's and BroedgeMan's side here. Soppae getting through cleanly. BroedgeMan had to make a short stop and onto the bees. Now the bees can be a bit of a hassle. They have 3 different patterns: machine guns, missiles, and essentially passive. Looks like both runners are running pretty low on health. We might see some kills from the front. Yeah, okay, BroedgeMan gets a good machine gun bee and is able to get through. If you get double passive bees, you're actually doomed if you're trying to do the 2 bonk stretch, which is the standard strat. There is a 1 bonk variant, but not a lot of people do it. So the idea here is that we need to get down to 3 or less health for the upcoming cutscene with Vile, an unwinnable cutscene in which Vile traps us. And in order to trigger his trapping shots, you want to get down to 3 health or less, so that he traps you immediately rather than punching you in the face and stuff. So that's what you see Soppae doing here with the cars. Same with BroedgeMan. Looks like BroedgeMan may need to take another one from the car coming out of the ship, but I'm sure he'll be fine. A little bit of bad luck for BroedgeMan on the ship. The ship's movements are sort of RNG. You can manipulate it to an extent, but ideally you want to be directly under the left wing when the second car is killed. And it looks like Broedge did have to also take a face full of Vile Fist, but you know, sometimes that happens. And our hero Zero saves the day. So moving forward, what we're going to be doing is Chill Penguin stage. This is the first stage in any category of this run. Well, any category besides dashless, I suppose. Soppae is sort of infamous for his dashless attempts and things of that nature, sort of more meme-ish categories, but is also a very solid runner in the 2 primary categories, being 100% and any percent. So the reason we do Penguin first is pretty obvious. I think most everybody knows the boots are here, right? And that's where the pace of the speedrun is going to pick up quite a bit. Soppae making nice use of the slopes. An interesting feature before we get the dash boots is that while walking down slopes, you actually walk slightly faster. So if you can sort of maximize your time on these downward slopes, you can very slightly lower your time throughout this bootsless section. And Soppae is the first to the dash boots. Our fluffy cloud bearded friend, Dr. Light, gives us some message. I can't read it. I don't speak Japanese, but essentially says, here, go faster. And we'll see the pace pick up quite a bit. And Broedge not very far behind. Soppae making very cleanly through the no-stop hallways. Pretty tricky little segment. Probably see a bit of a safer strat from Broedge if my guess is correct. But Soppae coming up on the snowball section, another very tricky section. All of these guys sort of have, I think, 4 or 5 health. Take at least 2 shots to kill. So getting through there quickly and without taking damage is kind of tricky, but expertly executed by Soppae. Let's see what kind of strat BroedgeMan uses here. Spraying those lemons all over the place, not bad. Yeah, very clean, very clean. The world record for this run is 31:13. Soppae's PB is just over 32 and Broedge is just over 37. So if I had to guess, it's somewhere in the 40-minute range per match. That's probably what we're looking at here. Uh, the penguin fight is a very interesting fight. There's a lot sort of going on here, but what we don't want to see from Penguin is a lot of sliding because he's invulnerable for the duration of his slides. So minimal slides is ideal, but there's nothing we can do here. No RNG manipulation or anything like that. We just got to take what the game gives us. Both pretty clean fights from both players. I didn't see the time on Soppae's, but they're both pretty good. Moving on to Kwanger stage. This one is sort of different than the rest of the stages in the sense that it's less horizontal and a lot more vertical movement. So you see some precision climbing here from Soppae, trying to minimize the time you spend on ladders because ladders are pretty slow, especially the sort of grabbing animation of the ladder where you have to freeze there. So if you can avoid them, it's ideal. The turtle section is another tricky section. Ooh, one missed dash is all it takes, and we're not going to get the turtle skip, but pretty clean otherwise. Bro's making his way up the first climb. This has always given me a bit of trouble, this first section, so it's good to see him get through there fairly cleanly. The one auto scroller in the run, our elevator. One thing we can do on the elevator to make it even more boring is you can take damage boosts off the spikes without actually taking damage, and using the iframes, you get yourself directly against the wall. And then all you have to do is stand there. Even if you were to do nothing from that point, you'll take a hit from one of the jammingers for 1 damage, which is not really a big deal. But you can also just damage boost through it, as BroedgeMan just did. Very good outside climb from Soppae, skipping the Iceless Heart as expected. I imagine Soppae will either be doing total low percent, or he will maybe grab 2 hearts that are relatively on the way. Kwanger fight. Soppae's in it. He's going to execute the Kwanger Tango, as we call it. It's a nice little stun lock dance we can execute. If you jump just as Kwanger headbutts, you can escape his grab, and you're close enough that he will always try to grab you again until he gets to around half health or less. He'll start teleporting, at which point you just stand in the center. This fight is sort of a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's sort of a wall, I guess, for some newer runners. Before they can learn the tango, they tend to struggle with this fight. But BroedgeMan so far executing very beautifully. Looks like it's not going to be any problem for him. Yeah, BroedgeMan gets his dance. It starts his teleports pretty early, but from here it's very smooth sailing usually. Kwanger will never teleport directly on top of you, only close enough to grab you, and you can always shoot him out of that grab. The 2 primary categories for this game are any percent and 100%. The fastest way to beat the game is pure low percent, so that's why there is no low percent category. That's just the fastest way to beat the game. There's also a buster only category. That might be it for populated categories on the leaderboard. Though Soppae has done some dashless any percent as well as dashless 100%. So, I mean, there are all sorts of runs to sort of pique your interest. Anyways, this is Stink Chameleon stage. It's a relatively straightforward stage. The trickiest part being the cave BroedgeMan is entering now. Ooh, he's going to go for the armor. So this is a pretty common safety. The armor reduces your damage by half for the rest of the game. And for a lot of runners, it's going to be absolutely necessary in the final Stigma fight. The biggest problem is that we have to do this green biker dad fight, which takes quite a bit of time, as well as a capsule animation and wait for these blocks to fall and stuff like that. Soppae executing the, I don't know if we really have a name for that dance, but it's sort of just a stun lock on Kwanger. Very predictable pattern, very easy fight. And BroedgeMan getting his armor. I think the key for this matchup is going to be how low does Soppae go with his percent, and how are his final stages going to go, because the difficulty is absolutely turned up in the Sigma Fortress. So look to Soppae to take an early lead by not going for many safeties, if any, and look for Broedge to hope for some mistakes and try to catch up in the Fortress by being much safer and not risking any death. There's some very punishing deaths towards the very end of this run and at the very final fight. Meanwhile, Soppae making his way through the platform section. Is he going to go for death kick? Oh man, you don't like to see that flamethrower there. Usually, those flamethrower locations are pretty predictable, but Soppae must have flubbed a little bit of movement there, and ran into an unexpected turret. But manages to survive. That's a very scary situation because it's so easy to get knocked into the death pit there. Broedge, meanwhile, making short work of Sting Chameleon. You'll notice Broedge, he must have picked up some ammo in the swamp because he did use a bunch of boomerangs on Green Viker Dad, our boy. But Eagle is another relatively frustrating boss in that he can cost you a lot of time based purely on RNG, and that's each dive that you get from Eagle costs about a second because he's off screen and you're unable to hit him. I didn't catch how many Soppae did, but it didn't seem like very many. We'll see if BroedgeMan gets a comparable Eagle. I imagine Broedge may be going for the sub-tank in the stage. It's not too far out of the way, and for the newer runners, it also makes the following platform section a bit more manageable, especially if they have done more 100%, because you'll be coming from that direction in 100% anyways. So the platform should be in places that you are used to. Yeah, and here he does get this sub-tank. So as expected, one more safety on the list. The sub-tanks, they fill, when you have full health and you pick up a health drop, they fill the sub-tanks until they're capped off, and you can use them to refill your health at any point. You know, Soppae going to Flame Mammoth. Flame Mammoth is a boss that can be done anywhere after the Eagle stage, as Eagle gives us his weakness. A lot of runners, I won't say all or even most, but a lot of runners will put him at the end simply because it's a very straightforward stage with no RNG. So for the purposes of PB grinding, I think it's best, and a lot of runners agree, to put him at the end so you can get all the other RNG related bosses out of the way. But there's absolutely no time loss for doing him anywhere in the run after Eagle. Some people will do him in different places for sort of stage select preferences. And away goes Eagle on BroedgeMan's side. It looks like it's going to be, 4 dives, I think? Yeah, 4 dives for BroedgeMan. Ooh, and he misses the last shot, so it's going to get a 5th dive. Soppae moving on to Spark Mandrill. I wonder if Broedge is going to go. Yeah, they're going to be in the same stage for a minute, but Soppae has already completed Mammoth, so that's a little closer. I mean, a little more separated than it looks. Mandrill is a very interesting stage with a very, very good music track, in my opinion, but it's one of the more technical stages movement-wise, and has some pretty cool weapon swaps. You see Soppae making good use of the ice shots and swapping back and forth with the Buster for this section, while BroedgeMan opts for the slightly slower but much, much easier and safer tornado strats. Soppae getting a relatively good pattern, it looked like, from Thunder Slimer. This boss is another sort of frustrating. Ideally, what you want to see is you want him to come down. Imagine Broedge is probably just going to stick with you. No, he busts out the C Sting. Good on him. He knows his strats, it seems. But yeah, you want to hit him with tornadoes when he's up high because you can't mash boomerangs or C Sting in him. But once he comes down, you want to sort of fire as much C Sting or boomerang. Either one does the same damage, and knock him down a little quicker that way. I didn't notice if Soppae grabbed the heart here. This is another one of the relatively quick hearts. I see BroedgeMan's grabbing it right now. So that so far I think is 1 sub tank, 1 heart, and the armor for Broedge. And I think nothing as far as safeties go for Soppae. Mandrill's a cool boss. You see Soppae doing a relatively advanced strat here where he dashes up close and sort of puts the ice shot inside of Mandrill. And that's because the ricochets will all also hit him. So even if you're a little early, the ricochets can only hit him in sequential frames. They can't all hit at the same time. So you can actually fire the shot relatively early and still get a frame perfect hit on Mandrill. You might remember this fight being really, really easy to stun lock and cheese with the ice shot. But in the speed run, you can actually hit him before he breaks free from his shell. So you notice Renner's taking advantage of that. It does give Mandrill an opportunity to try to punch you in the face or shoot his sparks and stuff, but anything in the name of speed, right? Now Soupman on to Armored Armadillo. This is another one of the stages that are pretty simple. Riding on carts in this one. A lot of that. Some movement sections. This section's kind of neat here. You can take out these roly pokey guys. I don't know their names. Some lemons. And, but then right back on the cart. Looks like Soppae's on Boomerang. Ooh, he is going to grab the 1 heart here. That's the very fastest heart in the game to grab. It's totally on your way. The only time it really costs you is the fanfare of actually collecting it. You can just fire a boomerang at almost top speed. This boss can be quite the troublemaker. Armored Armadillo. He starts with armor on. You can get one quick snipe on him before he starts to roll, but his first initial roll can last as long as he wants it to. And Soppae's getting trolled a bit here. I think Soppae has one of the worst rolls on record that I've ever seen. Rolling for a continuous 20 seconds at least, I believe. And he's invulnerable for the entire first roll until you're able to knock off his armor with your first spark shot after he breaks out of the initial roll. Let's see what kind of pattern he gives Broedge. Maybe get a little advantage here. Oh, and he gets the perfect pattern, breaks open immediately. So Broedge is going to make up a little bit of time in this fight, but it's not going to make up for the fact that he hasn't done Mammoth yet. Soppae is on to his last Maverick, Launch Octopus. The stage of many mid-bosses. This is one way you could put it, I suppose. And there's a lot of potential for damage in the stage, and the octopus fight itself is can be quite dangerous. So look to Soppae to try to manage his health as best as he can here and avoid any unnecessary damage. He gets a good pattern from the first sub, able to clean him up nicely. We're gonna get one more sub coming up here. Nice fish gap there from Soup. Oh, he gets the light, and so he walked. He expected the sub to blow him away, but he gets the light pattern, actually walked into him. Oh, he looks for some health and doesn't get it. Gonna likely have to take some damage from these depth charges. And one more mid-boss here. I wonder if he's gonna wait around to see if he can get some health, because he's at a relatively low amount of health to be comfortable going into the Octofight. He is gonna see if there's any health. There he is, almost topped off. Broedge, meanwhile, nails the fish gap. Very nice. That can be a little tricky because if you come up just short, you'll actually clip your heel on that ledge and potentially fall into that spike pit. I've done it more than once myself, as I'm sure a lot of runners have. So Octopus, he has an attack similar to penguins and eagles where you can waste your time. And Soppae gets one right away. I call it the laundry cycle. Some people call them whirlpools. Some people incorrectly call them tornadoes or underwater. Hello. But Soppae only gets the one. So one thing, relatively risky what Soppae did there, but it can save time, is jumping into the energy drain attack, the laundry cycle, and mashing his way out. Now, there is a risk of an infinite combo from Octopus with frame perfect wrong mashing, but Soppae was lucky to get out of there unscathed. Ooh, and the Tokyo swap, you get the glitched missile ammo on screen during the zero cutscene. Now this is where the run really picks up the difficulty moving into the fortress. Coming up right away, we've got what we call Leap of Faith. And it's a strat hinging on these platform cycles. We need to make this one cycle. Soppae, no problem. Very experienced runner, as expected. Nails it. Easy peasy. And coming up, we do have another unwinnable fight with Vile, and that's why you see Soppae taking a lot of this damage. It is, in fact, intentional. Meanwhile, BroedgeMan making his way to his final Maverick, Flame Mammoth. Soppae, if you notice, just climbed the ladder and sort of jumped to the door. You may think, well, why the heck is he doing that? Well, it's because there's a cutscene that triggers as you crest that ladder, and it only triggers if you touch the ground in front of the door there. So what we can do to avoid it is jump the gap in the ladder, kick off the inside of that, climb the left wall, and jump clear across to the door without touching the ground. And what happens now is that the cutscene that was supposed to trigger in front of the door starts in between the doors and sort of finishes while this other cutscene plays out, and you can save time. Vile is a very cool fight, in my opinion. Soppae executing it very nicely. Would probably like to be a little further to the right because we do need to advance over to our boy Zero. Fortunately, didn't make it out of this game, so we won't be seeing it in any future Mega Man X's. Our boy Zero sacrificed himself today. Farewell, friend. But the Vile fight is very cool in that Vile has very short iframes, and so we can do damage to him very quickly. But he also does a lot of damage on contact, so it's both a very exciting, fast-paced fight. Oh, Soppae going for... Oh, we'll wait and see if he gets it in the next run, but I forgot that Soppae did that. Here we have our Kawanger refight. Soppae entering with a charge shot. Oh, I guess we should have mentioned the upgrade we get from Zero is the Buster upgrade. It allows us a fourth stage of charge. I guess it's the third stage of charge. The pink shot. And also allows us to charge all of our Maverick weapons for the rest of the game. And they all have their own unique abilities. You see here the Charge C-Sting allows us to just pass through enemies. BroedgeMan opting out of the Leap of Faith. I don't blame him. Most platforms have a tendency to sort of eat your dash inputs if not done exactly right, so it's very easy to fall in the pit. This is Bow Spider. She is another one of those sort of wall bosses. Looks like BroedgeMan's pulling off the skip pretty good. There's a chance to soft block here if not executed exactly properly. So hopefully Broedge knows to not let go of start. But yeah, Bow Spider being another one of those bosses that sort of is an early roadblock for a lot of runners. They struggle reading your patterns. The way she works is that all of those green lines you see between the vertical blue lines, she has to cross every one of those she comes to. So you can sort of read her pattern, know where she's going to get and how she's going to get there, and position yourself accordingly so as to be able to hit her with the ice sled. Meanwhile, Broedge taking down Vile. Pretty good fight, I think. Escaped without taking any damage. Chat covering his health bar right now. Meanwhile, Soppae on to Sigma 2. We're gonna have some more refights here. This stage is very frustrating while doing personal best attempts. It has both of the Jerk Bird bosses packed into one stage, so You get penguin slides as well as eagle dives at the same time. Looks like Soppae's getting a couple here, but nothing too outrageous yet. And you can always sort of, you can slide as many times as he wants in a row. I think the most I've ever personally seen for me is 3, but I have heard horror stories of 4 in a row. But relatively sort of middle ground number of slides for Soppae there, I think. Broedge going for the sort of jump around strat in acquiring a refight. Pretty safe. You're safe to sort of just hang out up in the corner for the most part in that refight. If you're not comfortable trying to execute the dance, it's a little trickier with missiles because they knock them back early. So. Looks like Soppae getting the 3 dives from Eagle. So you know, sort of average Sigma 2 so far for Soppae. Meanwhile, Bro's working on Spider here. One thing she can do, which is pretty frustrating, is throw those babies around. She have to make an effort to avoid avoid the baby spiders while also reading the pattern. It makes it kind of difficult. Soppae, meanwhile, facing Rangda Bangda. Getting probably the worst pattern you can get to start that fight. Was that 3 green eyes or just 2? Getting a nice 1 cycle on the nose. It should be relatively smooth sailing. Yeah, it's 3 green eyes on the left side to start the fight for Soup, but he handles it well nonetheless. Broedge, 1 final shot. Ooh, misses the last one. More babies. Oh, he misses that cycle again, too. This should be it, though. Easy pattern. Easy life. Oh no! Soppae misses the armadillo skip. We can actually skip this refight with a nice ice sled zip. Saves quite a bit of time, especially if Dillo decides to troll like this and roll around again. But Soppae unfortunately missing that and having to do this fight. It's going to cost him some time. Let's see how many slides we get from our boy Penguin on Broedge's side. There's 1 right away. Looking pretty good now, though. There's number 2. Looks like Soppae is going to go for the Doppler effect fight. This is a bit of an advanced Kawanger fight. Now that we have the upgraded weapon, the attacks do 4 damage when using the upgraded weapon, and 3 when doing the normal one. So if Soppae can get 2, oh, it looks like he's just going to use the opening charge shot, which actually just hits him much faster. Still going to have to be the same number of shots, but if you were to do 2 charge shots, it saves 1 hit on the fight, saving 1 second. Our boy Spark Mandrill. Nothing really changes about this refight. Having the Buster upgrade doesn't help. There's no good way to get 2 charged hits without losing a bunch of time in between. Broedge getting a bit of a trolley up-down pattern here from Eagle, but it's better than a bunch of dives. Charged Tornado. I believe that was meant to be a spark, but Soppae's not gonna let it phase him. And our boy Octo refight. Let's see what he gets this time. Is it going to be a similar pattern? He's going to get a second laundry cycle here. And he's kind of low health, so I expect there is a big health drop between here and our next refight, which is Flame Mammoth. I imagine he's going to get that because he's got the Flame Mammoth refight, which is relatively simple, but then the D-Rex boss fight follows that immediately, and that one can be much more tricky and dangerous. So, of course, he does go up. He gets a little top off from the top route and on to Flame Mammoth. Meanwhile, Bro's taking down Orangabanga pretty quickly. He's not that far behind, really. And Soppae going in to D-Rex with not many safeties. I'm pretty sure he only grabbed the single heart in Armadillo. So one death could really tighten this race up. So let's hope that doesn't happen to Soppae. And Bro's making up even more time, nailing that Armadillo skip. The way that works is kind of tricky. You sort of use the sled to zip past the trigger that locks the camera, and the camera's position is actually what triggers Dillo to spawn. So by not letting the camera scroll up all the way, Dillo never spawns and the door opens and we're allowed to walk out the room. If, however, you are jump inside Dillo's room, it scrolls the camera up and actually spawns Dillo anyway. So you might have saw in Losso's matchup versus Akitaro earlier this week. Soppae makes quick work of D-Rex. Very nice fight from Soppae. And he's moving into the fourth and final Sigma stage. Dogfight, Jedi fight, and final Sigma. All pretty dangerous fights. Experienced runners usually don't experience a lot of trouble on the Jedi fight because it's relatively easy to manipulate his pattern. But the dog is very chaotic, and the final fight is extremely dangerous. So look to Soppae probably play it a little safe here, I would imagine. He's going to go for the head dog strat. Seems like a variant I've never seen before, but it's working out okay for him here. The dog is another one of those bosses, similar to the Vile, has very short iframes. So one of the ideas is that you can get between him and the wall so that your ricochets go off screen faster, and you're actually able to hit him again and again very quickly. Jedi does a lot of damage, but it's pretty predictable. You can bait him up these walls and get him in a pretty predictable rhythm. Meanwhile, Bro's getting some laundry cycles on the right side. Oof, Aka was not playing friendly with BroedgeMan right now. Soppae takes down the Jedi. So with this current health, I think he can survive one lightning strike and not die. So he's in a relatively safe place here to be able to wrap this one up. BroedgeMan making his way. Imagine he probably goes top route as well. Top off. Ooh, and Soppae gets trolled by the claws. Ooh. Ouch. So that's going to cost him some time. And he is going to have to probably farm up because he used a bunch of ice ammo on the dog as well as sparks on Jedi. His rolling shields are probably near topped off still because that fight did not last very long. So this is going to be Bro's chance to get hot on his heels, and this is why these safeties are so important for these new runners. This category, any percent, anything can happen. Deaths are going to be something we see quite a bit throughout the course of this tournament. So, guys peeled for some upsets potentially. It sounds like Soppae's topped off. He's going to make his way up. Give this one more shot. Meanwhile, Bro's taking down D-Rex. This is a pretty tricky fight. D-Rex, he starts to move much quicker at half health, and he dishes out a lot of damage. And BroedgeMan is jumping right into him. One more shot to go, though. Wraps that up pretty good. Here, Soppae's getting a pretty good pattern, but he's taking a bunch of damage from this dog, so he's going to go 2 health left into the final fight. After, granted that he can get through Jedi here. BroedgeMan hot on his heels. Jedi makes quick work of, Soppae makes quick work of Jedi. So this is going to be Soppae's, do or die here, right? 16 rolling shields without being able to take a hit. It's a pretty tough ask, but it's certainly doable by a guy as talented as Soppae. So let's see what he can pull off. What we don't want to see is we don't want to see that right claw come over, and we don't want to see a bunch of lightning. Oh man, Soppae takes another death. This is Broedge's chance. As long as he can make it through here without dying. He's got the armor, he's got a sub-tank, and he's got 2 extra hearts, which I give him a pretty good chance to take this race. He just can't die. So he's got to be very careful. This Jedi can dish out a lot of damage. Soppae's got to farm up again, but here we go. Soppae making his climb. 2 more hits on Jedi for BroedgeMan here. Ooh, and he takes a knee to the face from Jedi. So he may, with his current health, I think he can take a hit before using his sub-tank, but he does have a sub-tank in his back pocket to ensure his victory here. Hopefully. I don't want to see any more pain here. Soppae getting pummeled by the dog again. Ouch. He's going to have 1 hit to go. This is where the armor really does pay off, and those safeties. Oh, and he falls off the clock. You better use that sub-tank. The one thing about sub-tanks as safeties is that you have to use them, right? They're not like passively gonna save you. You have to make an effort to use them, and if you don't, you neglect them, try to save them, that could be the end of you. BroedgeMan running pretty low here. Oh, it takes a lightning strike to the face. Oh, man. So this is going to be Soppae's chance. Snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. See if he can pull it off. He, again, has only got, what, that's 6, 7, 8 HP. So that's a 1-hit KO again. If he makes any mistakes, BroedgeMan still has another chance. Friendly Claw. Oh, and the lightning takes him down again. Ooh. And that's not even a game over. So he's got to farm again. Actually, in this scenario, having gotten extra lives is kind of annoying. Because if that was a game over, you wouldn't have to do all this farming, right? It just refills. So they're both in farm mode here. BroedgeMan, the first to make the ascent. This is quite the back and forth here. Yeah, interesting to see how this one plays out. Soppae checking his ammo levels. Says, I got enough, let's go. I don't got time for this. He's been taking a bit of damage on the dog, but again, he's probably filled up that sub-tank while farming for ammo, so should be in relatively good shape. Granted, he doesn't take a bunch of damage here from Jedi, which is entirely possible. Soppae makes pretty quick work of the dog. I expect to see Soppae gain some time back here in the Jedi, and this time Soppae's got full health. So look to Soppae to gain some time through sheer experience in this Jedi fight. Well, Broedge misses shots here and there. Soppae likely not missed very many. Broedge takes him down. So Broedge is going to be the first one into the final Sigma fight. Nearly full health with the sub-tank in his back pocket, but Soppae right behind him. Jedi down, full health. No sub-tanks, though. So Soppae is going to be able to take 2 hits. Well, he's going to be able to take 1 and survive. The second one will likely kill him. Broedge getting carried across. Oh, man. Dishing out some good damage here, though. Getting some good DPS. Let's see what Soppae can do. See if he can overcome. Oh, he falls off the claw. Broedge staying strong here. Missing a shot, though. Soppae riding the side. Oh, and the lightning takes Soppae out again. Oh, and it looks like Broedge is going to wrap it up here. Very nice. 39-20 by BroedgeMan. And it looks like Soppae's had enough suffering for one race. And is probably going to concede the victory here to BroedgeMan. What a back and forth. Crazy finish. BroedgeMan taking the first. This is best of 3, so Soppae is not out of it yet. And we're going to get our round 2 started here relatively shortly. Man, what a crazy race. And that is the difference, my friends. Safety versus speed. Right? BroedgeMan just, the sort of the tortoise versus the hare, if you will, right? BroedgeMan sort of lagging behind a little bit, but picking up safeties, making sure his end game is going to be relatively strong. Meanwhile, Soppae going full speed, but getting some bad luck, a little bit of mishaps there in the end, and the tortoise overtakes the hare, claims victory this time. Soppae's pace looked, I forget what he was coming at a Sigma 3 at around 31 minutes, I think. So yeah, it was like a sub 34, like a 33-ish. I think. Low 33 maybe. Something in that area. Looks like BroedgeMan's going to take a quick nature break, and we'll get this second race started pretty soon. So I guess while we wait, we can talk about it. What are you guys' favorite Maverick songs? Chat. Let's shoot the breeze here. Who's your favorite Maverick or your favorite music? My personal favorite from this game has got to be the Sigma 2 soundtrack. Though we don't get to hear it as much in a speed run because it's broken up so frequently by refights and stuff. You see some Armored Armadillo, some Lizard Buffalo. I think all the music is pretty good. But there are definitely some standouts. Boomer Kalanger comes to mind. I hear Armored Armadillo a lot. Spark Mandrill. There's a lot of good tracks in this game, but Sigma 2 is head and shoulders above the rest, in my opinion. Just throwing that out there. Okay, looks like we're going to be going here pretty quick. Soppae doing the menu dance here. Clear indicator that the next race is probably going to start soon. BroedgeMan clearing his timer. Checking his inputs. I like his style. R dash, best dash. Confirmed by this one race, I think. It's a clear indication. There we go. Make sure you guys give these runners a follow. Both of them are very, very good runners in their own right. Soppae mixes it up quite a bit. I'm not sure. I haven't spent a whole lot of time watching BroedgeMan, but here we go. Round 2. Soppae's got his back against the wall here. Let's see if he can see if he has what it takes to claim the victory here. But he's got to win 2 in a row now. Well, Broge has just got to do what he's done. That's all he has to do. Take this one home. So, again, a lot of mashing in the intro. Everybody hates this stage, right? It's very, very frustrating when you're doing a lot of resetting to have to come back and do this stage. So, Soppae gets a missile beam. I didn't see what Broge got. Looks like he got another passive, though, judging by his health. So, look to Broge to maybe try to farm some health from these walkers in between. Does not get any drops. But he does get the machine gun, so he will be able to survive at perfect health for the vial sequence. Soppae has 4 HP. I wonder if he is going to do task cars. He didn't do it last run with even more HP, so I don't expect him to do it this time. I wonder, yeah, let's see. Is Soppae going to change it up? Is he going to grab any extra safeties this time, or is he going to stick to his guns, the one heart? Stay tuned to find out. It looks like Soppae is opting out of the task cars. He's going to have to take a hit, though, from one of these cars that falls out of the ship. Oh, he just misses it. Okay, he's got it. Don't land on your head, though. Looks like Soppae gets a very nice ship. Doesn't have to move a single pixel. Broge as well. Very, very nice ships for both players. Let's see what Vial does. Ooh, very nice pattern for Soupman here. Meanwhile, Broge has got the 2-step Vial, which is pretty average, right? It's kind of your standard expected pattern. So Soppae with a slight advantage leaving the intro. Again, maybe we can take a little closer look at the movement here in the penguin section. It's kind of hard for me, more of a technical commentary. I don't have the greatest colors, so I tried to lean on the technical aspects of the game and give you guys as much information as I can. But I imagine some of it's pretty bland. But here we've got Soppae making his way into the cave. As we talked about before, X actually walks a little faster while walking down a slope. Well, he also jumps a little higher. And if you jump at the bottom of a slope, you actually carry that extra speed throughout the jump. So you can sort of maximize your slope speed by jumping off these slopes. And you can also sort of take a little shortcut that we saw there on both sides, where they turned around to walk down the slope very briefly and then jump. You get the extra jump height to reach the ledge a little quicker than going sort of to the left wall or up another step. And we get the boots here. Now we see Soppae picking up the pace. Ooh, missed dash right away, though. That's frustrating. You see Soppae using another one of those turnaround slope jumps to reach the top of that pillar. Normally you would have to do a wall kick off the side, but with the extra jump height of the slope jump, you're actually able to make it up. I think it's purely preference. I don't know if there is any substantial time difference between the two strats. Another thing we could talk about is in this penguin fight here, what we want to see this ice breath attack. Not the ice chunk attack, the ice breath attack penguin. There it is. So the reason we want to see that is because he doesn't take any knockback, and you know exactly what he's going to be doing for the next few seconds. So you can sort of pile on the damage What we really don't want to see, obviously, are the slides because he's invulnerable. Jumping around is not too bad because you can always hit him down, and the ice chunks are a little frustrating when they block your shots, but at least Penguin himself is not invulnerable. Ooh, BroedgeMan getting the freeze. That's uncomfortable. Both players making pretty quick work of Penguin regardless. So, nice fights. Moving on to Boomer Kawanger. Probably, I mean, if I had to rank the stages in order of difficulty, this one would absolutely be top 3. In order of like pure execution difficulty, maybe not strictly staying alive, right? Like the fastest strats in this stage are pretty difficult compared to some of the other stages. Relatively easy. Fastest movement. Soppae gets knocked off the ladder. Again, ouch. It's a little frustrating. Not the ideal turtle climb for Soppae. Soppae utilizing the iframes from the glitch kick, the spike wall glitch, to clip through the instant kill platform. A little bit of buggery there, but nothing out of hand. This game is surprisingly relatively stable. There's not a whole lot of like game-breaking glitches. That's why we don't have a glitchless category or anything like that. You know, there's only a few minor glitches that don't totally alter the way the game functions. So one of the things that drew me to it. If you're into glitchless runs, are cool also, by the way. Nothing against those. Soppae making very, very quick work of that outside and inside climb. All of these sections are very difficult. See what BroedgeMan has in store for outside. Ooh, just misses that ladder yadder. Those guys are pretty annoying. That shot in particular. You need to be at the very peak of your jump. Soppae, low enough health where one mistake here could be the death of him in the Kawanger fight. But at his level, I don't expect anything but pretty simple fight. And Soppae takes him down, no problem. Oof. Man, a pretty rough inside climb here for BroedgeMan. He gets knocked off the ladder again. Ouch. Decides to just take out the turret. Get out of my way, dude. Yeah, he's gonna grab that little bit of health too. As I said, this fight is pretty uncomfortable for newer runners. BroedgeMan also rocking only 3 health. Contact with Kawanger does 4 damage, so that will take him out of the fight if he misses this dance. Ooh, he didn't go quite far enough to the right, so he doesn't get the immediate dance. This is where the fight gets dangerous. Boomer starts throwing his boomerang around, his horns, whatever those are. BroedgeMan seems to have him all figured out, though. Entered the teleport phase, and now Bro should be able to... No! He started moving. As long as you stand still, Kawanger will never teleport on top of you like that. And BroedgeMan wanted to get to the center of the stage, which is admirable, but a bit risky, and suffers the consequences. So now he's got full health, though. I don't imagine him having any problems this time around. Yeah, he gets the dance right away. Nope, gets thrown. Careful now. One more bonk. But now he's in the center of the stage, just pumping out shots. This should be smooth sailing from here. Meanwhile, Soppae already on to Sting Chameleon. Worked his way through that stage very nicely. BroedgeMan's got some time to make up here, but as we saw in the last race, it's not over until it's over. see BroedgeMan, I expect. Yep, going up again to get this ammo. This is it's a good play. Obviously, it paid off for him last time, right? The thing about this fight, though, is that his weakness is the same weakness as Sting Chameleon himself. So the idea here is to sort of ration your boomerangs. Use only enough to kill Green Biker Dad here. Try not to waste any, and have just enough left to finish off Sting Chameleon at the end of the stage. It's 18 boomerangs and 5 dash lemons, ideally, to take down old Green Biker Dad, RT55J. Let's see Soppae went for the death kick. Dang, I should have paid attention. A pretty awesome strat through that platform section in Eagle. We call the death kick because it's very dangerous. Notice the difference in the cave for BroedgeMan, though. BroedgeMan doesn't have all those rocks falling from the ceiling, and that's because he's taken out RT55J, the claw robot upstairs, who apparently was having a dance party. I don't know, knocking rocks off the ceiling. I don't. And he grabs the extra life too, just for boomerang swag. So it seems like he's getting quite a few dives out of Eagle here. That's going to cost him some time. Well, the mech gets in the mech rider gets in the mech, but BroedgeMan's been able to outrun him. This section is always fun because all the enemies die to either 1 or 2 hits really quickly. So you can sort of customize the way you do that section without losing any real time. Ooh, and Superman with the missed stage select. That's going to cost him about 10 seconds. Luckily, it was a stage that he had already visited and completed, so he's able to use his escape unit to leave without having to do either complete it out of order, or I'm pretty sure that we've decided to allow reset and password back in the case of a missed stage select, which would cost even more time. Soppae again doing Mammoth 5th. Well, I imagine Broedge will probably stick to the same old Mammoth last, tried and true. The only real tricky part of the Mammoth stage, in my opinion, is the very last section with those green ball and chain guys. I think we call them jamming, or no, those are the flying guys. Hoggenhammers, maybe? Something like that. BroedgeMan again grabbing the sub-tank and Eagle here, as expected. I think he'll stick exactly to the same safeties that he picked up in the previous race. I'm interested to see if Soppae decides to do anything, though. He did skip the armor, and he skipped the heart here in Mammoth. Not a lot of people go for it, but it's a relatively quick safety. Let's see Soppae adjust the strategy going forward, though, having struggled so hard on Sigma 4 in his last race. And this would be the other heart, I think, here in Spark Mandrill. Let's see what kind of pattern, though. How many dives for BroedgeMan? Is he going to make up some time here? I know Soppae had quite a few dives. Let's see if Eagle cooperates for Broedge. Looks like he's going up for the hover, which is a good sign. He's likely going to come right back down, and he does. 0 dives for BroedgeMan. Nice fight. Meanwhile, Soppae using the ice shots and the dash lemons to take down these flyers and these, what are they called? Flamingos? I think Flamingle is the technical name. Ooh, looks like Thunder Slimer is giving Soppae the business a little bit, shooting his bubbles, hanging out at the top. This is a much slower fight than his last one where Thunder Slimer came down, but handles him very nicely. BroedgeMan taking a few bonks here in Spark Mandrill. Nothing too serious though. Looks like Soppae goes for the Paul Heart grab, nails it. So we do see one more heart. I'm pretty sure he didn't grab this one last time. So one more heart for Soppae. A little extra safety for later in the game. We'll see if it pays off. And for BroedgeMan, it gets the decent pattern. Thunder Slimer comes down, but he had the tornado out, so he wasn't able to get very many sea stings in there. And right back up Thunder Slimer goes, but still a slightly better pattern than what Soppae got. And while Soppae pounding away, Spark Mandrill with these ice shots. Pretty simple fight. Can get a little iffy if he starts punching a bunch, but not too bad. BroedgeMan goes for the Paul Heart too. I admire his spirit. It's a pretty tricky way to get the heart. Gets the standard heart grab there though, no problem. So BroedgeMan, one heart, one sub tank, and the armor. Soppae sitting on one heart as safety right now. I imagine he'll be picking up. Oh, and with the Eagle revisit, another missed stage select. Again though, he's already completed the stage good, so you can use the escape unit. And only a minor time loss, but the time loss nonetheless. BroedgeMan sitting pretty here with quite a bit of health. Should be no problem. Spark Mandrill stage is challenging enough that it's possible to take quite a bit of damage and come into Mandrill at relatively low health. And Mandrill does do quite a bit of damage when he punches you in the face, Mike Tyson style. So, but no problems for either runner in either race so far. Riding on carts again here. Armored Armadillo. Soppae's got his boomerang out. I'm sure we'll be seeing this heart grab again. This one loses very, very little time. So, wise decision, I think, by Soup here, given what happened last time. Ouch. Hopefully, Armadillo was a bit of a jerk to Soppae last time. Let's see. Hopefully he gives him a little better pattern at least. Doesn't open right away, but it is just the one bounce, so the second best pattern you can get. Soppae's going to push him up against the wall, and likely I think finishing with one spark on the wall, which is kind of a neat tactic, where if you shoot the spark at the wall for the last hit, it'll actually just sit on Armadillo until his iframes run out completely, and it'll hit him on the first frame guaranteed every time. BroedgeMan playing it very safe on the cart there. I think, you know, some players I've seen it many times where a player jumps off the cart towards the door, actually lands above the door on the wall, lands on the cart, and the cart carries him back off the edge into the pit. So I don't blame BroedgeMan 1 second for taking it safe there. BroedgeMan gets the same pattern as Soppae, the one bouncer, second best pattern. So no difference here in the Armadillo fight. And while Soppae make his way through the first sub, no problem. Looks like he took some damage somewhere though. I wonder if it was, looks like maybe the seahorses. Oh, and he jumps into the second sub. Oh, he takes another bonk, so he's gonna hope maybe for some health again, I think. Yeah, and he gets some this time. That's much quicker than waiting on the Utabaros, the next mini boss. That's an interesting strat, just sort of jumping into the depth charge right away to ensure that he can get across cleanly after that. You see a lot of players sort of jump through hoping that there would be an opening, but more often than not, there is not an opening. Oh my gosh, words are hard. Here, let's see what BroedgeMan has in store for this first mid-boss. A little slow. The sea snakes, the worm boys got out, but that's okay. Soppae taking some damage right away in this Octo fight. You have to be a little careful. Seeing these laundry cycles is actually a bit of a relief when you're at low health because you know he's not going to be firing his homing fish at you. But I think he jumps into this one. And 3 HP, one hit, direct hit from Octo will take him out. He can survive 2 torpedoes and 2 fishes. Oh, 1 grain of rice left. But Soppae pulls through the Octo fight. That was a pretty close call. Let's see what we got in store for BroedgeMan here. What Octo's got going. How much laundry do you have to do? Well, looks like he's getting started right away. BroedgeMan, though, in a much safer position in this Octo fight. He does have the armor, so everything is half damage. Ooh, Soppae doesn't quite get the leap of faith, bails on it. At least he doesn't die. It's a wise decision, I think, to just back out, play it safe. Taking that intentional damage again. Going for the vile sequence skip. BroedgeMan moving on to his 8th and final Maverick. Meanwhile, Soppae making his way through the Sigma Fortress, into the Vile stage. Oh, doesn't get hit by that first trap shot. What's this mean for the skip? No quick skip, but we still get the skip. No soft lock. BroedgeMan making use of the sea sting here. Take out these miners in 1 hit each. And while Soppae for the quick Vile kind of pattern we get. Ooh, very nice. That was a very quick fight by Soppae there. That was always one of those fights that is so fun to execute properly, but as soon as it gets out of hand, it gets way out of hand. And rolling shields, rolling all over the place, and time loss and all that jazz. Oh, rip Zero again. Sorry. All right, buddy. Taking the stairs from Soup Man. Through the bounce house. Pops the sea sting and up we go. See if he goes for this Kawanger refight skip again. Looks like he's making the play for it. No drops though. So he's just going to move on. He can actually skip this refight with some pretty fancy boomerang work. I don't know if Soppae has gotten it in a run. I think he might be the only person ever. Very, very hard to save time with, but still very cool nonetheless. I was hoping we would see it. Maybe we'll get a chance in round 3. Meanwhile, BroedgeMan onto the fortress. Zero with a little motivational pep talk here. Found the fortress, dude. Let's go. Yeah, looks like there's going to be no leap of faith from BroedgeMan here, just because the way he did those turtles. Soppae putting out some damage. Getting those baby spiders again, ugh, those are frustrating. But not missing any cycles because of them yet. It's like BroedgeMan make a pretty clean Vile skip, first part anyways. Let's see if he gets the rest of the skip here. I think he might be getting the quick version. Or Zero's, no, Zero's text box opened up all the way. So that's sort of the slower version of the skip. Still not as slow as doing the doing the whole sort of cutscene sequence there. Soppae taking down Mama Bow Spider, no problem. Moving into the frustration stage of the speedrun. Oh, bro. Oop, he gets the jumping vial. See, this is what I mean by it gets a little out of hand. You get these rolling shields. You can only have one R shield on screen at a time, unlike a lot of the other weapons, but still handled very nicely by BroedgeMan here. I've already lost count of how many slides. This is looking kind of ugly over here for Soup Man. Ouch. More slides. No more, please. Penguin. Birds are jerks. I don't know if you guys heard. Birds are jerks. That was kind of funky. Didn't quite make it through the bounce house as expected. I'm not sure exactly why that happened, but usually through that section, all you got to do is sort of dash onto the first spring and hold right. But every once in a while, things get a little funky. You miss one of those springs. Good recovery. You're going for these sort of high wall strats. Pretty safe stuff here from BroedgeMan, as expected. It's like Soppae's getting... No, Eagle decides he's going to go for one dive anyways. Let's see, what kind of health does BroedgeMan have? Is he topped off? Pretty close. And he's got the armor. So again, Bow Spider is a pretty tricky boss for a lot of the newer runners. Soppae gets a nice blue eye from Rang to Banga. That's what we kind of want to see in the opening. Is these blue eyes, so that we can get as many hits as we can before the walls close, because we want to one cycle the nose so the walls don't have to open again. And if you kill the nose and don't get very many hits on the eyes beforehand, it's pretty tricky for the rest of the fight, having to fight two eyes inside of the closed walls over a spiky pit of death. Soppae had a pretty good pattern, pretty good fight. BroedgeMan, meanwhile, having a very nice fight against Bow Spider here. Oh, but he shoots the sled the wrong way for the last hit. Oh, man. Oh, and he dashes into him. Come on. Safe over there. Get that shot. Oh, just a little late. Soppae this time, though, gets his armadillo skip. And BroedgeMan finishes off Mama Bow Spider here. Looks like Soppae just going for the standard chameleon fight this time. Nice and simple. How many slides do we think for Broge this time? What's your number? Any guesses out there? Well, there's one right away. Here comes round two. There's three. Oop, four already. Yeah, penguin birds are jerks. Did I say that yet? That was 5 slides, I believe. 5 slides. Man, that hurts. Okay, so going into the Octo refight, always a little dangerous. Okay, he does have 2 backup safety hearts here, so he's got a little extra breathing room than he's probably used to. I'm pretty sure he does pure low percent in attempts. So it's safe to sort of take some of this damage to maximize your DPS And at this amount of health, I'm not sure. I give it a 50-50 whether he goes up top for that health refill. How many dives from Eagle? Oh, he's going up right away. It's looking like a max dive pattern. Oh no, he came right back down. So it's one dive. Back up for two more, it looks like. So 3 dives. 5 slides, 3 dives. Pretty typical, I think. So such a RNG heavy stage with both birds and wall face boss. Rangda Bangda. Meanwhile, Soppae gets through Mammoth flawlessly and on to D-Rex with full health. So shouldn't see too much issues here for Soppae, but you never know. BroedgeMan gets the 1 green in the close. Ooh, that's frustrating. We'll see if he's not going to get the 1 cycle, it doesn't look like. So it might be for his benefit because both of those eyes are going to have a lot of health left. Should be able to finish off this right eye. I only have 1 eye left to worry about. 1 hit there on the nose, a couple more here on this eyeball. And easy peasy, let him squeeze. Meanwhile, Soppae, no damage, no problem with D-Rex. On to the final stage, hoping to not repeat what happened last race and finish strong here. BroedgeMan making his way to Sigma 3. Very nice skip by BroedgeMan. Easy peasy. Going some firewave strats here. Interesting. And then he just lets his charge go. So I think most runners opt to just use T-Sting through that segment. The firewave is sort of a strat to garner a charge so that we can do the Doppler effect. But BroedgeMan maybe just having a little fun. So it makes it out of the dog, no problem. So he should, in all likelihood, barring any mistakes in this Jedi fight, be going into final Sigma with a full load of health, full bar. And hopefully able to fend him off this time. It is a very tricky fight, so let's see what kind of patterns we get. We want that right claw to stay all the way on the right. Stay away, right claw. And left claw, please not too many lightnings. And then the right claw comes over and the left claw does lightning right away. Typical. But when he's back in his place. Ooh, takes a claw there. Oh no. Oh, 2 health. Come on, Soup. Just a couple more shots. Oh, my boy. Oh my god, it's so tense. Can he do it? He got it. GG Soupman finishes with a 33-15. And it looks like we will have a round 3. BroedgeMan takes care of Octopus. Got a little low on health, I imagine. We'll be seeing some top route from BroedgeMan here to top off. So this is not over yet, though. We're gonna have a game 3. BroedgeMan's gonna play it out. I think he's probably still on PB pace, honestly. I think the PB I gave you guys earlier might be outdated. Either that or he's playing way above his PB skill level. So he's got a chance at a PB. Absolutely should be playing this run out. Even if not, I think for the experience is well worth it. Soppae last run, I think, was just very frustrated after having died some 4-5 times the final Sigma. I'll blame him one bit for wanting to just get on with the next one. He wrecks. Another one of these late game bosses that does a lot of damage. Sort of, he picks up speed as the fight progresses, and it can get very chaotic. Especially like controlling your boomerangs is not as easy as you might think. Getting them to go up always is not that easy. But BroedgeMan handles it very well. Complete Sigma 3, moving on to Sigma 4. Hopefully finishing strong here, or maybe even getting a PB. So, turns out that extra heart that Soap grabbed in this race versus the first race was actually made all the difference in the world. He finished that fight with 2 health, which is exactly what you get from a health upgrade. So had he not grabbed that, he would have been dead again. That was a wise decision by him. And maybe he did go for it in the first race and just didn't get the ball heart and decided it wasn't worth to go for the backup. Maybe that's what happened. At any rate, BroedgeMan got a pretty good dogfight here. He's got quite a bit of health, as well as the sub-tank and the armor. So he should be able to, as long as he takes down this Jedi safely, he should be in pretty good shape going into the last fight. Pretty good fight. I think missed a couple shots here and there, but nothing too serious. So going in and no damage. That's the big thing, right? So going into final Sigma here with lots of health, full sub tank, and the armor. Hopefully you can pull this off. 16 shots. Putting it out real quick here. Oh, he gets kind of trolled there. Might want a sub tank right now. Oh, he's got the armor. Maybe he can survive a lightning, but I think I'd still use it. Oh man, one HP left. Whew. That hurt, but it looks like he's gonna get the kill here, barring any like disasters. Boom, gets the kill. 37-43. What? Is that a new PB? It's definitely a race PB, I think. GG. GG's to our boy BroedgeMan here, finishing strong. We'll be heading on to round 3 here very shortly. Nice. It looks like BroedgeMan's saying in the race chat that it's a 3-second PB. Very nice. Always impressive when you can see somebody put up a PB. Oh, 3 seconds off PB. Oh, he just missed it by 3 seconds. Oh, that's still very good run. It's coming soon. Next run, maybe. Very nice. To get that close to your PB on this sort of setting, a tournament race in front of probably more users, viewers than you're used to, is very, very impressive. So nicely done by BroedgeMan. Yeah, I lied. It wasn't a PB. It's 3 seconds off PB. You just missed. So it's because current PB is 37-40. One more round. Coming your way very soon. So coming up, one more race to determine this matchup. The first match in Group K, I believe I said earlier. BroedgeMan able to pull off the upset in the first race. Soppae finishes cleanly in the second race to force a round 3 back against the wall. And it looks like we may be taking another quick nature break here, shake some of the stress out. But we should be getting our round 3 here relatively quickly. And the show will start here soon. So don't go anywhere. Okay, here we see the menu dance from BroedgeMan this time. So the race is coming very soon. And they're off. All right. Game 3 between Soppae, the number 1 seed of Group K, and BroedgeMan, the number 4 seed of Group K. So, again, I expect probably we'll see the exact same set of safeties from BroedgeMan this time. Like 2 hearts, 1 sub-tank in the armor. It's a pretty standard suite of safety items. I imagine the first one will probably going forward would be the armor because it costs the most time, but it is by far the strongest safety you can get in this game. Soppae gets the nice machine gun pattern. Looks like BroedgeMan got the same. I missed it. Oh, unfortunately, BroedgeMan looks like he got the bad patterns and was forced to kill the bee from the front. That's going to be quite costly. Now he's got to, fall down, climb back out. That's a pretty heavy time loss. You see them hopping through this broken, crumbling section, and that's just as many strats are in this game. It's a lag reduction strat. You see a lot of those throughout the course of these runs. Most of them you probably wouldn't even notice. Simply, I mean, it's a Super Nintendo game, right? There's going to be a bunch of lag explosions, particles, lemons, sprites, all add up to generate lag in a bunch of situations. So you'll see varying degrees of sort of lag reduction strats between different runners, whether it be killing more enemies that you necessarily don't need to kill. You could just go around, but maybe eliminating their sprite can alleviate some lag, or maybe jumping out of a dash quickly rather than dashing across the ground because dashing generates dust sprites, which can contribute to lag. Those sorts of things are things that we can do to mitigate the lag. And those jumping across that bridge is another one, because as they crumble, they generate all these crumbling dust sprites and things. So Soppae with a bit of a lead coming out of the intro, simply because of that having to kill the bee from the front from BroedgeMan puts him at an early disadvantage here. But as we saw in race 1, it's nothing he can't overcome. Again, so making his way through the cave here. This boostless section, as sort of slow as it is, it's got some slightly intricate movement. One of the bigger things being this turnaround slope jump Soppae's going to do right here to reach that ledge. That a little tricky, but saves quite a bit of time. I think it's much more fun as far as the bootsless stuff goes than the intro. Obviously, the intro is mostly just hold right and mash, whereas this has got some kind of cool stuff you can do to speed up the process of getting to the boots. And again, once we get the boots, it's sort of off to the races, right? BroedgeMan not that far behind, getting his boots now. You see the only use of the mech in the run, just to get a little extra jump height. Just to get on top where these, I guess they're bunkers, mosquito bunkers. I don't know. That's what comes out of them, I think. But ideally, that's the only mech we ride into the game. The reason being, mechs actually move a little faster and are pretty cool, right? Obviously. So, but they take so long to get into that any potential time save from their added movement speed is negated. Ooh, and Soppae getting a double slide right away. Penguin, please. Yeah, this is a pretty brutal fight for Soppae, and he gets frozen at the very end. BroedgeMan, meanwhile, doesn't seem to be getting as many slides, but getting slides nonetheless. This Penguin fight is probably, it's up there, like really high, and the hardest to execute really fast. It might even be the hardest fight to execute properly every time, simply because it's so random in nature. And there's so many different ways to deal damage to Penguin. Like the blue shots deal 3, but the dash lemons you can hit him more frequently with. So it's sort of a give and take type fight where you take what Penguin gives you, right? You notice a little D boost from Soup there, that's intentional to get knocked up onto the ledge, otherwise you'd normally have to wall kick. The laser just knocks you up on a ledge instead, and into our one auto scroller again. And some deboost stuff, see if he clips through the death platform again. So he's off and out of it this time. Oh no, here he goes. There it is. Risky? Yeah. Maybe. Worth it? Absolutely. Pretty good first half for BroedgeMan as well. Soppae misses that shot on that ladder yet. That's such a tricky shot. You have to be like near full height or at full height on your jump to make that blue shot connect with that ladder yatter. Still Soppae making the rest of the stage look easy. Broedge doing the same. Oh, misses that ladder though. That ladder yatter's gonna be back. No problem. Take him out again. Yeah, this inside climb can get a little tricky. You see BroedgeMan trying to use this ice shot. The problem he's having is that he's not close enough. Like that. See how he took him out with one shot? You gotta be right next to the enemies. Because the idea is that you put the large ice chunk inside of the enemy, and then the ricochets hit the enemy from within and deal extra damage. And you can take them out in one shot that way. If you try to shoot them from a distance, all the ricochets simply splash off. Ooh, and BroedgeMan jumped a little early, just missed the dance. Looks like maybe not. He's not going to go for the re-dance. He's just going to try to get this fight into the teleport phase as quickly as possible. Choir not cooperating. Start teleporting, bro. But looks like BroedgeMan's going to pull through nonetheless. Very nice fight by BroedgeMan, given that he didn't get the tango there. Soppae making his way through the cave of frustration here. God, these rocks are so... They're random in nature, right? They can come from anywhere. And there are things you can do, such as maybe trying to shoot them out of your way or slowing your movement to avoid getting hit in the face with a rock, but a lot of times there's absolutely nothing you can do. The rock literally appears on top of your head. And you just deal with it and move on. The nature of the cave here. BroedgeMan again making his way up to the armor capsule as expected. One more fight with RT55J, aka Green Biker Dad. RIP X2. Green Biker Dude. Soppae perfectly executing the brainless chameleon fight. Very simple. Back and forth. Easy peasy. And BroedgeMan collects his armor. He's going to make his way through the cave. Again, no rocks for BroedgeMan because he did the mid-boss fight up there. He got the armor. So he's just going to have these standard rock guys who are always in the same position and can be fairly easily avoided. You do have to wait for them. But that's no problem. This is a cool strat where you sort of jump underneath the platform and then kick off to the far side of it. I think one of the terms we use for those are in flames kicks in honor of the guy that found them or first implemented them, maybe. See if he goes for the death kick here. No, he's going to opt out. That's the section where you would do another in flames kick, sort of where you jump underneath the platform and kick off the right side. The punishment for missing that one, though, is death, so very... only I don't know. It's a very risky strat, let's just put it that way. And it only saves 20 frames versus waiting on the platform to jump to the next one. Good fight from BroedgeMan. It looks like Soppae is going to get another diveless eagle. Unless I did look away. Judging from the audio, it didn't sound like there were any dives. And remember, this is round 3, so the loser of this race loses the matchup, and will have gone 0-1 so far in groups. Now, the way that this tournament works is pretty similar to the other tournaments. 4-person groups, top 2 in each group advance to brackets, so every win is critical. You can sort of be behind the 8 ball, whoever falls in this matchup here. Soppae again doing the Mammoth 5th. So keep that in mind when, again, it'll look like BroedgeMan has caught up when they get into Mandrill, maybe even be ahead in Mandrill stage itself, with a Maverick behind. Pretty good a platform section. Again, some unexpected positions from some of those fire turrets, but nothing BroedgeMan can't handle. Soppae making quick work of Mammoth stage. Probably the easiest of the 8 Mavs, if I had to pick one. As far as Chameleon's up there too. Chameleon and Mammoth's probably the two freest 8 map stages and bosses. Looks like another pretty good eagle for BroedgeMan here. Is that no dives as well? Synchronized boss kills, so they're going to be entering Mandrill stage at almost the exact same time. Now again, we see this concept of placing ice shots within enemies. These blue guys able to be taken down in 2 precise ice shots, whereas it would normally take quite a bit more damage. And the theme continues here with the flamingos. 1 lemon and an ice shot inside of him is enough to take him down without having to slow down. BroedgeMan, though, opting for the tornado strats. You do have to sort of wait around for the tornado to pick up speed. Because if you go full speed, then the tornado can actually be despawned, outran. Ooh, Soppae getting really low on health here. This is what I mean by this stage can get sort of out of hand. Oh, BroedgeMan getting bounced on too. Oof. Soppae's running really low here now, down to 1 last grain of rice. Oh baby. Is he gonna go for the Paul Hart again? He doesn't go. He just goes straight for the. Oh, he's not even gonna boomerang, and he's just gonna climb right up. So back up to 3 HP, but still really low health count. 1 fist to the face from Mandrill might take him out. Look at BroedgeMan dies in the hallway. Yeah, I called him Soppae. Soap doesn't get any health drops in the last hallway either, so he's in a bit of a tricky position here. Oh, Thunder Slimers sort of had their way with both runners here. Put them both in some very tough spots. BroedgeMan, though, gets his heart now, moving on. Much better position. Looks like Soppae is going to get the kill here. Made it out safely. And BroedgeMan making his way through the last corridor. Kind of a tricky corridor. Again, a lot of these lag reduction strats where we take out these light birds because they cause a bunch of extra lag as long as they're on screen. Try to eliminate them as quickly as possible. BroedgeMan makes his way to Spark Mandrill. Plenty of health, so it shouldn't be a big issue here. Meanwhile, Soppae back to the riding on carts, listening to the horns of Armored Armadillo stage. No problems for BroedgeMan in the Spark Mandrill fight. Unfortunate that he took that death there in that hallway, though. Luckily, the checkpoint wasn't that far behind where he was, so he didn't lose all that much time, but a little bit of a time loss nonetheless. And Soppae picking up his second, and I believe last safety is what he did last run, so... And this is another lag reduction strat here. At the end of Armadillo, you see Soppae jumping up and down on this cart. And that's to bypass spawning a bunch of birds that generate a boatload of lag while they're on screen. And the thing about them is that their spawn triggers are triggered when you're on the cart. So if you just jump off the cart at the right times, you actually bypass spawning them entirely and save 1 billion in lag frames. Soppae again gets the perfect pattern. Opens immediately from Armadillo. It's one little troll roll at the end there, but no big deal. See Broge doing the same thing, jumping up and down on this cart. Not quite as accurate. So there's those birds I was talking about. It's quite a few of them, but they were late in the ride, so they didn't generate that much lag. There's a lot more of them that he was able to skip. So. Let's see what kind of pattern Dillo has for our boy BroedgeMan here. There's one roll. There's a double. The third tries the charm. And so a little bit extra separation here, thanks solely to Dillo luck. Ooh, and Soppae gets the nasty suck pattern, so he's gonna take a bit of damage again. See, he gets topped off though. That's nice. Again, Octo, a pretty dangerous boss fight with several mid bosses, and it's very easy to take a bunch of damage here and end up in a situation where it's very easy to die to the Octo fight. So takes the high road through those death charges. Looking good though. And the quick kill on the Utuburo Sea Snake. You want to get him down as quickly as possible because he generates a bunch of lag as well. And the Worm Boys are free again. See, that's another lag situation. Ideally, you kill that sub before the worms can escape, and then they die with him, and you can collect. Ooh, Soppae going for the suck. Oh man, he's got one rolling shield left. Oh, one more laundry cycle here. Did he not have a rolling shield left? I thought he did. He finishes him with Buster though. Makes it out alive. That was kind of a bit of an iffy fight, but no harm, no foul. As BroedgeMan enters the octopus arena here, see what kind of pattern we get. Soppae seemed a little nasty. I didn't count the laundry cycles, but see what kind of luck BroedgeMan has in this fight. We don't make up for the time lost in Dillo. There's one though. Meanwhile, Soup making his way towards the leap of faith. See if he's got it this time. He's 1 for 2, 2 for 3. Very nice. BroedgeMan, like a pretty decent octopus from where I sit. Ooh, Soppae accidentally picks up that extra health, so he's going to need to take a little bit of extra damage here to get down to the threshold. 6 or less HP to trigger Vile's trapping shots in the second fight here, whereas it's 3 in the intro. 3 or less HP, that is. But looks like he's going to get the skip nicely. And that looks like a quick pattern to me. So you'll notice Zero's text box doesn't even open. His face appears very briefly, just gone in an instant. That's the quick variation of the Vile skip. Whereas the slow one, Zero's text box will open up entirely and then close. BroedgeMan on to his last Maverick. Flame Mammoth. Super gonna do this fight. Ooh, looks pretty good. Yeah, that was very fast. Very nice fight from Soppae. I want to call him Soup Man. I want to call him Soppae, so I call him Soppae. Oh my God. Soppae. It's Soppae. And rip again, our boy Zero. Man, I thought he was going to make it through this time. One of these days. He's going for it again. Oh, he got the drop this time, but no Kawanger refight skip in this set. That is, it's such a tough trick, and nobody even thinks about doing it in real time. I mean, other than as a joke. Other than Soppae. Other than Soppae. That's just kind of the kind of guy he is, I guess. So BroedgeMan wraps up his 8 Mavericks to be moving on into the Fortress. A little bit behind, but as we know, this is any percent and anything can happen. Soppae. You will always be soup in my heart. At any rate, Bow Spider again. Pretty tough boss for beginners and intermediates alike, but a seasoned vet like Soppae should not have any problems here. BroedgeMan using the hold right into the wall to shorten your iframes trick to take a little extra damage there. Making some nice movement over to the door, triggering the first half of the skip. Again, there is potential for soft locks here. Very nice fight by Soppae, though. I don't remember seeing very many babies in that fight. And BroedgeMan gets the quick skip as well, so very nice. How many slides in the refights here? Let's see. One right away. Again. It's always frustrating. And then he gets the wrong way hit stun, has to wait for the fire to go across. There's slide number 2. While BroedgeMan takes down Lyle. So he took a little bit of damage there. Is that only 2 slides for Soup? That's pretty good. That's above average. Or below average, I guess. It's on the good side of average. Only 2 slides. Very nice. This section's pretty cool, in my opinion. Nice use of the missiles that you don't get to see very often in the run. And that sets up a little bit earlier C-Sting to utilize to try to get those gap jumps. And now for the other jerk bird. How many dives is it going to be? 1. Ooh, Soppae was a little far to the right, but that's okay because the baby bird bomb it. If Eagle comes down off the side of the platform, he can't then come down all the way. So he's gonna have to go either do his baby birds or go back up and start diving again. Luckily, he was low enough health that Soppae was able to kill him before he started diving again. One green eye and then the moving red. Not a terrible pattern. You don't really want to see the greens, but 1 is better than 3. Super wrapped up. Very nicely. I did it again. Oh my gosh. Meanwhile, BroedgeMan doing his thing with Mama Spider here. Those babies are frustrating, but I gotta get out of there. There you go. Looks like a good Dillo skip here from Soppae. He's gonna use the C-Sting through here, so we won't be seeing any Doppler effect chameleon fights in this matchup. As much as I love that strat. Not be featured here. Oh man, this is the last couple cycles again for BroedgeMan. Finish him off. There he goes. Got him. Nice fight. So any guesses how many slides for BroedgeMan this time? What do you think? I'm giving him no slides. Slideless. Let's go. So much for that. One right away again at first opportunity. And there's two. Birds are jerks, dude. There's number 3 already. And 4. Oh my gosh. Soppae goes for that backup health there. Just misses the boomerang shot, decides against it. I've lost count. How many is that? 6? 7 now? This is hideous, dude. Is that 8? Oh gosh, penguin. Oh, and Soppae takes a death. Oh no. As you know, as we know, such a octopus is a very dangerous fight, and Soppae not having full health going in there. He went for the health. He should have tried again, I guess. He had the right idea. But he pays the price for his missed boomerang shot. Hopefully Ego's a little nicer to Bros. Nope, he's going immediately. Looks like this is going to be a 7 diver. Max dives. Ooh. Misses a shot too, so it could be even more. There's 7 and 8 dives. 8 dives, 8 slides. That's a pretty painful, especially when you're already behind. Looks like Soup's going to skip the top route, top off this time. If he doesn't need it, I don't blame him. He didn't lose very much health in that second octo fight. With the right blue eye, that's a very good pattern, but then we get standard green eyes. So that red eye is going to stay open for a while. He might be able to finish it off. Yeah, very nice. So it should only be, it doesn't look like he's going to get the 1 cycle, but he is going to be able to finish off the other eye as soon as it opens here. And one more shot on the nose. BroedgeMan moving on to Sigma 3 as Soppae faces off with D-Rex. Looks to be a pretty good fight so far. He gets the spark ball, slides underneath it beautifully, finishes it off. Very nice. Good fight. Moving on to Sigma 4, the pressure cooker. This is it. This is for all the marbles, right? Don't die and you win. But it's so easy to say don't die, and it's so easy to just panic, freeze, get a totally crummy pattern. Oh, and BroedgeMan misses the skip. Gonna have to fight Armored Armadillo for a second time. Hopefully he doesn't troll him too bad. Ah, good. Good pattern. Immediate open up. BroedgeMan should be able to wrap this up pretty quickly. This is the fight where you sort of set the stage for the Sigma fight, the final Sigma, right? How much damage did I take on the dog? How vulnerable am I going into this final fight? Because, as we said, for the higher level runners, this Jedi fight is relatively straightforward, right? You don't expect to take any damage, gain or lose any time here. But, you know, anything's possible, right? But so you leave the dog with half health like Soppae is right now, and you're looking at what? He picked up 2 hearts, started with 60, so he's at 20 health. He's got 10 health left. That's 1 lightning. Lightnings do 12 damage. Well, the claws do something like 8, I think. I'm not entirely sure. So it's a potential 1-hit KO here for Soppae. He gets the good claw pattern, though, that kept moving. Oh, and the lightning takes him out right away. You get that same pattern last time, where the right claw comes across, and the left claw does the lightning immediately. You don't have a whole lot of places to go. So Soppae's going to have to farm up here. It's going to be a chance for BroedgeMan to catch up. I imagine Soppae's going to have at least one more chance here. BroedgeMan making his way through the fish section and into the octopus refight. See if Soppae plays it a little safer this time in the dog. Try to come out of here with full health, maybe. It's not, always easy, right? You try. Ideally, yeah, you don't take any damage, but looks like Soup putting on a clinic this time for the dog. So he's going to have full health in all likelihood going into the final fight. Meanwhile, BroedgeMan wraps up the Octo refight. Uh-oh. Seeing some Soup talk in the actual chat. I don't know what this means. Let's just turn a blind eye to that and see what happens. One more time. Hopefully. See what kind of pattern we get from this claw again. Again, the claw can sort of just stop right in your way when you're trying to climb that left wall immediately. And when Soup falls off, almost gets hit by the fire. Threads the needle on the left wall. Looking in pretty good shape now, up on the claw, full health. Sigma's getting really down. Oh, the right claw comes across, hits him in the face, though. He falls off the claw again. Oh, gets smashed again, but he finishes the fight. 35-15.99. And that is it. Our winner, Soppae, Super Nama. Goes to 1-0 in the group stage. GG. Meanwhile, BroedgeMan wrapping up D-Rex and moving on to Sig 4. Not that far behind. Can he still PB from here? It's going to be tough. He's leaving here at about 36 minutes. That gives him less than 2 minutes on this final stage. This is going to be pretty tough. I might even be safe to say impossible. But it's going to play it out nonetheless. Respect. And respect to anyone who entered this tournament on, on a hunch or, were hesitant, right? It takes some serious guts to come out here and play in front of a bunch of people you don't know and try to deliver. And BroedgeMan put up a fight today in a race. He wasn't favored to win, to put frankly. So hopefully we can see a strong finish here from BroedgeMan. And maybe we can get some interviews going. I'm not sure what our time frame is, what the schedule is like. Let's see if I can get some information on that for you. Jedi Falls. One more boss to go. Should still have that full sub-tank lingering at about half health, but he's got the armor. I think he can do it. Sub 38, 16 seconds. I mean, it's possible. Let's go, BroedgeMan. Got this. Putting up some pretty good DPS here. Gets hit by that lightning. Better use your tank. Ooh, yeah. The lightning's coming again, and so is that right claw. He's not going to quite cut the 38, but he is going to finish with a very low 38.01. Very respectable time. Anything sub 40 is very good in my book. So GG's to both our runners. Make sure you give these guys a follow. And as far as I know, this is our last Mega Man X run for tonight, unless there was something scheduled last minute. Sounds like we might have some Mega Man 1 coming up here, though. I wonder if we can grab these guys for a quick interview or not. I don't know. I haven't gotten anything on that. I'll be right back. Okay, sounds like no time for an interview. We got to wrap up, so make sure you shoot those guys a follow. Again, we got some races coming up tomorrow. I'm not sure what time, but there is a schedule attached to that challenge that was linked in chat. So thanks again for watching, and enjoy some Mega Man 1. The real classics. And don't forget to give those guys a follow, and we'll see you next time. Peace.